are you? I see your name, but not you. I need to see you.
Romero, turn your camera on.
Yes, sir.
Is it Romero or Romeo?
Romeo.
Oh,
Oh, this is hard.
bless you 5 times.
Thank you. Right there. All right. Mr. Romeo, we said, huh? R-O-M-E-O.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the record, we need to correct that, Patty, because the docket shows it as Romero, R-O-M-E-R-O. We need to get that amended to R-O-M-E-O.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Romeo Olivares, please raise your right hand. And you're in a very dark area. I can barely see you, but I do see you.
I can turn on my light. That helps.
All right.
2 seconds.
You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Very good. Now I see you very well. Put your hand down, please. We're okay now. Mr. Olivares, before I proceed, I need to talk to you about your rights and protections that are available under the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. First of all, well, let me ask you, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. First, you have a right to remain silent. That means that you do not have to make any kind of statement. Excuse me a second. You do not need to answer questions. You do not need to submit written paperwork, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. You understand you have that right.
Yes, sir.
You also have a right to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney and the state together could select 6 people from the jury panel of disinterested citizens who would hear all of your trial, all the evidence, people who would testify, etc. And they would decide whether you are not guilty or whether you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to confront witnesses. What that means is that if you decided to have a trial, the state would have to try and prove their case by using witnesses. You and your attorney would have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness who testified. That's called the right of confrontation. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And finally, whenever you're through, whenever this case is over, there is what's called the right of appeal. That is where you and your attorney, or either one of you individually, could demand that a higher court review the official record of this proceeding and the evidence of all sorts to determine whatever kind of legal challenge you made. Now, you have to be careful about the right of appeal because, first of all, it has time limitations, certain amounts of time. You also have to provide the appropriate or the proper substance and material in the documentation. But nonetheless, that is the right of appeal. You understand you have that right?
Yes, sir.
In addition, you have the right to demand that this proceeding be had in the open public courtroom. Now, because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that at this point. So in order to proceed, there's a document that identifies you, and then it says that you consent to the video conference of this proceeding. In fact, it is on YouTube, so it is public. But nonetheless, you have that right. So does the state of Texas, the prosecutors. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now there are documents that you have reviewed and signed in this proceeding. Did you sign those documents with the assistance and guidance of your attorney, Mr. Sahanovich?
I've received emails to sign documentation back in late October. To the best of my knowledge, that's what happened.
All right. And among those documents, it includes the consent to video conference. Do you remember signing that?
No, sir.
Well, hell.
I hope I did. I have a really bad memory, if I'm being honest.
Well, then we're going to have to refresh your memory by having you get together with your attorney. We're not
It's signed,
gonna
Judge. I have the
Okay, good.
paperwork in front of me.
I understand that, but if he cannot recall that he signed them, it kind of puts a kink in the machinery.
Your Honor, he can also voluntarily acknowledge and give approval that he's okay to go forward with the video conference.
Mr. Olivares, are you in agreement that we should do this proceeding as we are doing by video conference instead of in the open public courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Les. You came up with
Welcome,
this.
Judge.
All right, now, there's a document that's extensive. That document is titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. That one is chock full of information. It identifies you. It says that you have been informed of your constitutional rights and protections. It acknowledges that. Do you remember that that document told you that?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. In addition, the document tells you, among other things, that you have made a deal with the state, a plea bargain, but that as a judge, I'm not bound by it. I don't have to accept it. I have the authority and the responsibility to say yes or no. I also have the authority to give you a punishment within the range of punishment for the specific offense that you are pleading on. If I reject your deal, or if I give you a punishment that is within the proper range, but heavier than what you agreed to, in those cases, the court, the state law would allow you to start all over again. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Also, there's a document that I have signed. It says court's certification of defendant's right of appeal. That document tells you that because you're doing a plea bargain agreement, you are giving up the right of appeal. Did you know and understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Sahanovich, did you guide your client in reviewing and signing the documents in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you yourself sign an affirmation or acknowledgement that the state of Texas has complied with Article 39.14 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure and that they have provided you all the discovery that is required by law?
I did, Your Honor.
All right. State, are there any motions on this matter?
Judge, there are no motions on this matter.
All right, so we're proceeding on the original charge. Mr. Olivares, to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon in a motor vehicle. How do you plead, sir?
No content.
A no contest plea in this court is considered a guilty plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
State, is there going to be any deferred on this?
Judge, this is a deferred offer.
Okay. Now, Mr. Olivares, you have applied for deferred adjudication probation. It's a very beneficial program that Mr. Sahanovich has gotten for you. By getting this agreement, You are pleading no contest, and that is ordinarily considered a guilty plea in this court. And it's sufficient for me to convict you. But with a deferred adjudication, what happens is I do not find you guilty. And I will go into more detail on that. State, what is the agreed punishment? What will be the deferred for how long?
Judge, it's 6 months deferred. A $300 fine plus court costs, 48 community service hours, APSE, regular UAs,
AP like Tom or AP like Paul?
AP like Paul,
Okay,
regular UAs, and forfeiture of the weapon.
okay. Before I complete the punishment, Mr. Olivares, how do you make a living?
I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own clothing line. It recently started within this month, so
So
not
what-
sure how much I make in a year, how much I make in a month off profit and everything.
Well, I gotta have some kind of idea.
Okay. This month I probably made 1,000 profit.
All right. So did you pay taxes last year without, let me reword that for you. I don't want to get you to confess to something that you shouldn't.
Yes, sir. Last year I did pay taxes. I was working at 9 to 5.
You were working where?
9 to 5. I was working at Tiffany's Cabaret and Brass Monkey.
Is that the one that goes indoors when it's real cold?
What was that?
You said the Brass Monkey. I said, is that the one that goes indoors when it's real cold?
Yes, sir. We have an outside bar and an inside bar over there in St. Mary's Street.
Okay, that one flew right by you. Some other day I'll tell you what that meant. All right. You have any children you support?
No, sir.
All right. I'll go ahead and agree with grant you 6 months deferred adjudication. You will pay a $300 fine plus court costs. You'll complete 48 hours of community service restitution. You'll also participate in good faith and complete the AP like Paul SE program. You will submit regular UAs, that is urine samples for analysis under the supervision of the probation office. What am I forgetting? Forfeiture, okay. What kind of weapon are we talking about?
What was that?
State, Mr. Sahanovich, what kind of weapon are we talking about?
Judge, I don't have the report in front of me. If you give me a moment, I can pull it up.
I don't have the report for me either, Judge.
Mr. Olivares, what kind of, there's a handgun?
9mm pistol. Yes, sir.
What kind, what brand?
Smith & Wesson.
Okay. That's a good pistol. What did you buy it legitimately?
No,
Let me
paperwork.
reword that. Did you buy that from a licensed retailer?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, then I'll go ahead and order the forfeiture of that weapon. Okay. You will be required within 7 days to come to the offices of County Court of Law number 5, where you will have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. Also, don't leave this proceeding, this hearing here until you have met with Ms. Maricela Luna. She will talk to you about getting you started on the probation program. The probation office will read to you all your conditions. You will sign them. They will put a copy in your hands. Do we understand each other?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, what is the supervisory fee?
Hey, supervisory fees in this case will be $29 a month.
Thank you, Judge.